And now to security matters. Residents in the state await the arrival of the students reported to have been freed from their captives on Sunday. Relief watched over Kaduna State on Sunday as the military announced the successful rescue of 137 out of the 287 students abducted from LEA Primary School and Government Secondary School in Kuriga, Chikun local government area on March 7. In a press statement, the Nigerian Army disclosed that the rescued students, 76 females and 61 males, were found in neighbouring Zamfara State in a pre-dawn operation conducted in collaboration with local authorities and government agencies. These developments come amidst ongoing efforts to locate other hostages and dismantle criminal networks operating in the region. While details surrounding the rescue operation remain scarce, the news offers a glimmer of hope for the families who endured a harrowing wait for their children's safe return. However, authorities are yet to clarify the fate of any remaining students still in captivity. Meanwhile, the Nigeria Police Force have deployed another 200 personnel to Kaduna State, northwest Nigeria, as part of a special intervention squad to tackle banditry. This was made known on Sunday by the state governor, Obomanu, while unveiling the squad and special carrier vehicles, including 2 armored personal carriers. The governor also expressed gratitude to the police for its role in ensuring the safe rescue of the recently abducted school children from Kuriga in the state.
I also want to commend the Inspection of Police for helping us in sending a full squad of mobile police that were deployed to Kuriga community last week. As we are speaking, we have a full mobile squad also in Kuriga. I also want to commend him for supporting us to see that we bring back our children who were abducted from Kuriga community. I'm happy that they are back home now. They are with us, and police have played a major role in bringing these children back home.
We are now being joined by News Central's correspondent, Marvelous Obomanu, who has been monitoring the situation of things in Kaduna State. Marvelous, it's nice to have you around. Hello, Marvelous. Marvelous, can you hear me? All right, we'll try to see as much as possible how we can have a feedback from Marvelous so that they can give us the latest as regards the children that were released, about 137 out of 287 that were actually released. Of course, their release was secured by the Nigerian Army, and we'll try to get details from Marvelous during the course of the news, hopefully. But then we tell you that the Police Service Commission has questioned the competence of the commissioners of police in Delta and Imo states following a wave of assault against police officers in the country. The commission's chairman, Solomon Arase, in a statement on Sunday, signed by the spokesman for the commission, Chikun, said the killings in some states have been worrisome and called on the Inspector General of Police, Olukayode Egbetokun, to take another look at the capacity of state command leaderships in the country. Arase, while condemning the attacks, stressed that the slain officers were also Nigerians who deserve the support, encouragement, and protection of the citizens. And now we go back to the story where about 137 school children were rescued by the Nigerian military from their captors, of course, in Zamfara State. And we know that they are to be transported to the government house in Kaduna to have them reunited with their family members. But then, as of what we know now, they are being taken to a secure location where they are being treated and the health status being determined. But then we have a Marvelous Obomanu who has also been monitoring the situation as we have been doing from here to give us updates as regards that. Marvelous Obomanu, how are you there?
Yeah, how are you?
Okay, it's a pleasure having you around. So, Marvelous, quickly, let me just get your reaction about your trip to Kuriga in the Chikun local government area of Kaduna State, where these children were initially kidnapped. What was your experience like, or what were the things that you saw on the ground?
Come again, I didn't hear that, please.
So I actually asked you what was the experience like, what were the things that you saw, what was the observation as regards Kuriga, the place where school children were kidnapped in the primary and the secondary school. What were the things that you observed while you visited Kuriga?
Well, asking me what the experience was like when we visited our community, the only thing I can tell you is that that place is a dead end. While we journeyed 2 hours from Kaduna town to Kuriga community, my mouth was actually almost wide open. You know, that road is a dead end and is one of the hotbeds for kidnapping. You know, that road is leading to Biningware, and sometimes bandits always attack that stretch of that road. So I can tell you the community is a dead end, and in fact 3 villages before we got to Kuriga particularly had all been deserted, and the few ones that we saw people are just scanty people that are still around whom have not, you know, decided to leave their ancestral home, but the place is all vacant. In fact, I can tell you that from the Kaduna town to where they call Udama local government area, that was about 45 minutes drive before you get to Kuriga. We counted about 19 security checkpoints. 16 of them were military checkpoints, and then about 3 were police checkpoints. But from 45 kilometers to Kuriga, we didn't see any presence of any security checkpoint of whatever. We didn't even see locals. We didn't even see the army. We didn't see police in that road. And of course, there is bad telecommunication network in that area. So the village is deserted, no security, nothing. In fact, I can tell you, when we arrived that community, about 4 or 5 men that were lying down on a mat close to their huts. Immediately they sighted us, they all ran away. That to show you the aura of fear around that community as school children were abducted. So the place, I can tell you, is a dead end. For you to journey that road, of course, you either go with security operatives, but if you are moving alone, you are all by yourself because the road is really scary.
That's quite interesting. We'll get back to that in a bit, but then I'm equally concerned about the health status of the children. Of course, earlier on you talked about the fact that they were meant to be brought to the government house in Kaduna, where they would see the governor and the ministers, the officials, and of course be reunited with their family members, but that did not happen. So tell us, what is the latest as regards these children, wherever they may be right now, and how is their health status?
Well, it is a mixed feeling for the parents of these kidnapped school children. Of course, they were all excited hearing the news that these school children have been, you know, released. And of course, a lot of them came to the state government house here in Kaduna waiting to be reunited with their loved ones. But that did not happen because we all waited from morning till around 5 in the evening when we were told that these children will be coming back tomorrow, which is on Monday. And of course, you know that from Kaduna to Zamfara State is a 5 hours drive. So the parties that went to bring these school children were left around 10 a.m. if I'm not mistaken. So it will take them about 10 hours going and coming back. So they said that the parents should go, and then us journalists, we should also go and then come back to the government house tomorrow morning when the children will be finally brought back. But then there is another controversy that is brewing, and that is the actual figure that was rescued. Of course, the military is saying about 137 were rescued, while the state government is still claiming that all the children, 287, were rescued. So we don't know the actual figure, but of course, you know that the governor is the chief security officer of the state. So we are still aligning our thoughts to what he said, and of course, the statement he released earlier this morning. So when the children come back tomorrow morning, we'll count them head by head to understand how many of them were rescued. But I can tell you that
Marvelous,
parents, you know, some
quickly,
of them,
a reaction.
Yeah, go ahead, please.
Okay, yeah, quickly a reaction. Now, the state governor, that is Senator Obasani, commended officers. Of course, he said that they showed courage, determination, and commitment in dealing with the criminal elements. And of course, there are also plans in place to degrade and restore security in the communities in and around Kaduna State. So I'd like to find out, was there any form of gun battle? Was there any form of kidnappers being arrested during the course of rescuing the children?
Now, that particular detail is still sketchy for us journalists because the state government has not come out to tell us in details how these children were rescued. Neither did the military, have briefed the journalists on what and how led to that, successful operation. All we know is that they say they've been rescued, and I have not seen these children with my eyes, so I can't even tell you, yes, truly, they've been rescued till after tomorrow when we see them. But of course, when these children come back, when the governor will be briefing us, he will be telling us in details how these children were rescued. But there's something I would like to point out. These children were abducted since on the 7th of this month, and it took the government about 2 weeks later to deploy, 200 security personnel into that community. I mean, you remember what happened during the Chibok girls' time, that it took international community and some civil society organizations to raise a campaign called Bring Back Our Girls before government sprang into action. So there seems to be a culture of silence and rigmaroling, with our system here. So just as I'm telling you, it took 2 weeks after the attack before we saw security presence being deployed to that area. But back to the question you're asking, we don't know what led to that successful operation, but by tomorrow, the government will be giving us update on what actually was the role of the military in that rescue operation.
So this now brings me to the final question, Marvelous, because it's very critical that we get these rights when it comes to securing the lives of people and property. Now, is the issue with logistics? Is it issue with deployment? Is it with mobilization? Is it with the personnel that will be used to execute a particular rescue mission? Because now we see that the governor has commended the Nigerian police while unveiling a squad, and of course vehicles and ammunition has been provided. About 200 personnel in addition have been provided to assist in rescue operations and dealing with banditry and criminalities in Kaduna State. Would that be enough, or there are still other challenges that would inhibit the good intentions or the goodwill of the Kaduna State government and the Nigerian police in tackling criminalities in and around these regions or areas?
All right, very well. Earlier today, as promised by the Inspector General of Police earlier when he visited the Kaduna State governor, he promised that he'll be deploying a special tactical squad, about 200, to help the state tackle all forms of criminality. And just earlier today, the governor unveiled that particular squad, about 200 of them, and then about armored carriers, two armored carriers, just to help to beef up security in and around the state. And also, the governor personally requested that he needs more security, that he needs more boots on the ground. So I can say that with that deployment and with the ones they have on ground here in Kaduna State, probably they are deploying those personnel to some of the troubled areas in Kaduna State, like the Chikun local government and Kajuri, where villagers have been abducted recently.
Okay, Marvelous Obomanu, thank you so much for the update. We'll continue to keep tabs with you.
You're welcome.